All right, Guy, but we're going to begin with new developments in a story we've been following all day. Shots fired at Detroit police officers. The manhunt is on to find the people who were pulling the triggers. Good to have you with us today here at 5. Detroit Police Chief James Craig calling it an ambush, but luckily the officers who were targeted were not hit.
They were on routine patrol on Remington and Derby. That's right near John R. when those shots were fired. Jason Colthorpe has been following this for us. Let's bring him in now live with more on what we know. Jason.
Devin, let me give you an idea of this manhunt that was going on here today. We're talking about a pretty big area when you talk about from the State Fairgrounds back here down to 8 Mile this way. You've got John R. and then State Fair this way. We're talking about maybe a quarter to a half square mile. Police going door to door looking for these suspects, eventually focusing on the houses behind me. And in this street, lots of shells. And of course, in really a once proud neighborhood that is now home to rival drug gangs, prostitution, and parents who are afraid to let their kids even walk to school. It was a routine patrol around 10 this morning at Remington and Derby when officers heard 8 to 10 shots. Officers felt they were under fire, although no bullets hit their car. Chief James Craig called it an ambush.
As the officers came into the view of the suspect, he took it upon himself to start firing at the officers.
For hours, heavily armed officers searched homes over several blocks without finding the 3 suspects. DPD now interested in identifying this man seen running and the silver car in the foreground. Police did recover an AK-47 from a vacant home on Exeter they believe was the weapon used. They are also going over this surveillance video from another home on Exeter that captured a man on a bike shortly after the shooting and just before backup rolled past.
That's normal over here.
Normal is shots fired. Many neighbors I spoke with say shots fired at cops is not. Kelly Hines, though, who's lived here her 47 years, disagrees with that. She also thinks things could change with more police presence.
It's the way of life. I mean, what else can you do? It'd be better if they did more. Why can't they be like this when some other stuff goes on in the neighborhood? We done had several deaths over here, and we ain't had half of this.
And she's referring to, of course, the number of police officers that had this area covered. Again, they left this area about 2:30 this afternoon. Right now, no arrests made regarding that. They did take a few people into custody today, mostly for vagrancy and drug charges. But again, the people they're looking for that fired these shots have not been found. We're in Detroit tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
But Jason, this is actually close to where the anti-police graffiti was found, right?
Right around the corner, as a matter of fact, Devin.
Yep.
We're about a block up and over. And that graffiti, if you remember, said, "Kill Detroit police officers, kill James Craig," specifically.
Yeah.
And we talked to the chief about that, and he said, you know, this plays into that narrative. But again, we should also say there is a suspect in custody for the graffiti, and sources tell me he's not connected to what happened today at all. But again, it just goes to that anti-police rhetoric that we're seeing nationwide as well.
It feels that way. All right, Jason. Kim?